Hey Taurus, I need to talk to you about something that came through in today's reading, and honestly, I had to pull these cards twice because what showed up was so unexpected. You know how sometimes you just know the universe is trying to get your attention? That's exactly what happened when I sat down with your energy this morning. So I shuffled the deck thinking about Taurus and what's coming for you. And the first card that literally jumped out was the High Priestess. Now, this is interesting because the High Priestess isn't about what you can see on the surface. She's about those deep, intuitive knowing moments where you just understand something without anyone having to explain it to you. What I'm picking up here is that you've been in this really quiet phase lately, maybe even feeling like things have been moving slower than you'd like. But here's what the High Priestess is telling me, and this is important. All of that silence, all of that waiting, it wasn't wasted time. You've been absorbing information. You've been learning things about yourself, about others, about situations that you needed to understand before the next chapter could even begin. The High Priestess energy is showing me that you've developed this incredible ability to read between the lines. You're seeing through people's words to what they actually mean. You're noticing patterns that you would have completely missed 6 months ago. And there's this sense that you've been protecting yourself, building up your intuitive walls, learning when to speak and when to just observe. This card is telling me that phase is reaching its completion. All of that inner knowledge you've been gathering, you're about to need it because what's coming requires you to trust yourself completely. What's really fascinating about the High Priestess showing up first is that she's basically saying the blessings that are about to rain down on you aren't random. You've been preparing for this. The universe has been preparing you for this. Every moment of doubt, every time you questioned if you were on the right path, every single experience where you had to rely on your gut feeling, it was all building toward what's about to unfold. Then I pulled Knight of Swords, and honestly, Taurus, this card made me sit back because Knight of Swords energy is fast. We're not talking about slow and steady anymore. This is rapid movement, sudden changes, information coming at you quickly. Now here's what's interesting about this knight in your reading. Usually when I see Knight of Swords, it's about someone charging into battle, maybe being a bit reckless. But in your spread, this feels different. This feels like clarity cutting through confusion. This feels like answers arriving so quickly that you won't have time to second guess yourself. I'm seeing this as communication that's going to come through that changes everything. Maybe it's a message you've been waiting for. Maybe it's an opportunity that gets presented to you out of nowhere. But the Knight of Swords is saying it's going to happen fast. You might wake up one morning and by afternoon your entire perspective on a situation has shifted. And what I love about this is that you're not going to have time to overthink it. You know how sometimes Taurus energy wants to analyze everything, make sure it's perfect, wait for the right moment? Knight of Swords is basically saying nope. This is happening and you're going to have to trust your instincts and move. There's also this element of truth with Knight of Swords. Someone might be coming forward with information you need to hear. Or you might be the one finally speaking your truth after holding back for so long. Either way, words are going to matter tremendously in the next few weeks. Conversations are going to act as catalysts for these blessings that are trying to reach you. The barriers that have been blocking you, a lot of them exist in miscommunication or things left unsaid. Knight of Swords is clearing that out. The third card I pulled was the Empress, and oh my goodness, this is where things get really beautiful. The Empress is about abundance, creativity, nurturing, growth. She's Mother Earth energy. She's the garden in full bloom. And after the High Priestess and Knight of Swords, having the Empress show up tells me that all of this intuitive knowledge you've gained, all of this rapid clearing that's about to happen, it's creating space for something incredibly fertile to take root in your life. The Empress doesn't do scarcity. She doesn't know that word. When she shows up, she's bringing overflow. She's bringing more than enough. And in the context of this reading about blessings breaking down barriers, the Empress is confirming that yes, we're talking about actual tangible abundance here. This could be financial, absolutely. But it's also about your life feeling full in a way it hasn't in a while. I'm seeing opportunities multiplying. I'm seeing creative projects that you started or ideas you had suddenly finding the perfect conditions to flourish. I'm seeing your personal life becoming richer, warmer, more satisfying. What the Empress is also telling me is that you're entering a phase where you don't have to force anything. You know how sometimes you've been pushing and striving and trying to make things happen? The Empress energy is about allowing things to come to you. It's about being magnetic rather than chasing. And for Taurus, this actually aligns so perfectly with your natural energy. You're being called back to that place of knowing that good things flow toward you. When you're aligned with yourself, there's also something about the Empress that speaks to self-care and treating yourself well. She's reminding you that you deserve comfort, beauty, pleasure, ease. The barriers that are breaking down, some of them are the harsh ways you've been treating yourself. The critical voice that says you're not doing enough. The pressure you put on yourself to have everything figured out. The Empress is saying it's time to be gentler with yourself because that gentleness is actually what allows the blessings to land. Now. The fourth card was Four of Wands, and this is a celebration card. Like straight up, Four of Wands is about reaching a milestone, about having something to genuinely celebrate. It's the energy of homecoming, of stability, of joy that's earned through effort. When I see Four of Wands in a reading about life turning around, it's telling me that you're about to experience a moment or a series of moments where you can actually feel the shift. Where you can look around and go, wow, things really are different now. Four of Wands often relates to home and foundation. So this could literally be about your living situation improving. Maybe you've been trying to move or wanting to create a more stable home base. That's coming together. But it's also about feeling at home in your own life. Feeling like you're where you're supposed to be. That sense of belonging, whether that's in a relationship, a community, a job, or just within yourself. That's what Four of Wands is promising. What I find really powerful about Four of Wands appearing here is that it suggests the blessings coming aren't just random good luck. They're things that create lasting stability. They're building blocks for your future. The barriers breaking down aren't just temporary clearings. They're permanent shifts that allow you to build something solid. And there's this sense of teamwork or support with Four of Wands. You're not going to be doing this alone. People are going to show up to help you celebrate, to help you build. To be part of this new chapter, Four of Wands is also about commitment. And there's something here about you being ready to commit to yourself, to your dreams, to your happiness in a way you maybe weren't before. The universe is responding to that readiness by providing the circumstances that match your commitment. The fifth card completely surprised me, and it was the Hierophant. Now the Hierophant is traditionally about tradition. Institutions, established systems, spiritual wisdom, teaching and learning. In your reading, the Hierophant is showing me that part of these blessings involve you stepping into a role of authority or wisdom in some area of your life. There's something about you being recognized for what you know, for your expertise. For your unique perspective. The Hierophant can indicate that you might be learning something important from someone who has more experience than you, someone who can guide you. Or you might be that person for someone else. Either way, there's a transmission of knowledge happening that's significant. This could show up as formal education, mentorship, or just finding yourself in situations where you're teaching others through your example. What's interesting about the Hierophant in the context of breaking down barriers is that sometimes the barriers in our lives exist because we're not connected to the right systems or the right people. The Hierophant is saying that's changing. You're about to have access to networks, institutions, or individuals that can actually help you in concrete ways. Doors that were closed are opening because you're being recognized as someone who belongs in those spaces. There's also something spiritual here with the Hierophant. He's a bridge between the material and spiritual worlds. So while these blessings are going to be very real and tangible, there's a spiritual component to all of this. You might find yourself drawn to studying something that feeds your soul. You might connect with a spiritual community or practice that feels like home. The barriers breaking down aren't just external, they're internal too. Specifically around any blocks you've had with spirituality or trusting in something bigger than yourself. Then I pulled the Sun and Taurus. This card is pure joy. Like, the Sun doesn't mess around with half measures or subtle shifts. When the Sun shows up, it's about everything becoming clear. About stepping into the light. About success that's visible and undeniable. This is confirmation that yes, your life is absolutely turning around.
The sun chases away shadows.
It reveals truth. It brings warmth and vitality and that feeling of being alive. The sun is telling me that whatever you've been going through, whatever darkness or confusion or struggle has been present, it's lifting. And it's not lifting slowly or partially. It's like clouds parting and suddenly there's just this brilliant clarity and warmth. You're going to feel this in your body, in your energy levels, in your mood, in how you wake up in the morning. There's a lightness coming that you haven't felt in a while. What I love about the sun in your reading is that it represents success that's authentic. It's not about pretending or performing. It's about genuinely being happy with where you are and where you're going. The barriers that have been blocking you from this joy, they're crumbling. And the sun is saying you're not just going to be okay. You're going to thrive. You're going to shine in a way that's unmistakable. The sun also relates to children and childlike wonder. So there might be something here about either literal children coming into your life in a positive way, or about you reconnecting with that part of yourself that knows how to play, how to be spontaneous, how to find joy in simple things. The blessings coming are going to help you remember what it feels like to be excited about life. The 7th card was 10 of Pentacles and okay. Now we're really talking about abundance in the material sense. 10 of Pentacles is wealth, legacy, family prosperity, long-term security. This is the card that shows up when we're talking about not just getting by but actually thriving financially. When we're talking about building something that lasts, something that can be passed down. Something solid and real. In the context of your reading. 10 of Pentacles is saying that the financial barriers you've been dealing with are about to break. And I don't mean in a small way. I mean in a significant life-changing way. This could be a large sum of money coming in. A business taking off, an investment paying out, an inheritance. A promotion that substantially increases your income. Or just a general shift where money starts flowing more easily than it has in years. But 10 of Pentacles is about more than just money. It's about feeling secure. It's about having the resources to take care of yourself and your loved ones. It's about not having to worry constantly about making ends meet. For so many people, financial stress is one of the biggest barriers to happiness, to creativity, to love, to everything. 10 of Pentacles is saying that barrier is coming down for you. There's also something about family, or chosen family with this card. Maybe blessings are coming through family connections. Maybe you're building your own sense of family. Maybe you're healing family wounds that have been there for a long time.
10 of Pentacles suggests that your
support system is strengthening, and that's part of how these blessings are able to reach you. What's powerful about 10 of Pentacles appearing in your reading is that it represents the culmination of effort. This isn't lottery luck, though it might feel sudden. This is you finally receiving the rewards for all the work you've put in. All the times you kept going when it would have been easier to quit. All the faith you maintained even when you couldn't see results. That's all paying off now in very concrete ways. The 8th card I pulled was Knight of Pentacles, and this is interesting because after all this fast energy from Knight of Swords, and all this abundance from the Empress and 10 of Pentacles, here comes Knight of Pentacles to say, and now we build something sustainable with all of this. Knight of Pentacles is methodical, reliable, hardworking. He's not flashy, but he gets results. He's the energy of showing up consistently, of being dependable, of taking things step by step. What Knight of Pentacles is telling me is that, yes, these blessings are coming and some of them will feel sudden and miraculous. But you also have a role to play in making them last. You're being called to be practical, to make solid plans, to not just enjoy the abundance, but to steward it wisely. This is about taking the opportunities that are presenting themselves and actually doing something concrete with them. Knight of Pentacles can also represent someone coming into your life who embodies these qualities. Someone stable, reliable, possibly someone with earth sign energy, someone who's going to be there for the long haul. If you've been dealing with flaky people or unstable situations, Knight of Pentacles is a breath of fresh air. This is someone or something you can actually count on. There's something about Knight of Pentacles that speaks to patience and persistence. The barriers breaking down doesn't mean everything magically becomes perfect overnight. It means you're being given the tools, the resources, the opportunities to build something better. And Knight of Pentacles is willing to do that work. He knows that anything worth having is worth working for. But unlike the struggle you've been experiencing, this is work that actually yields results. The ninth card really surprised me, and it was the World, Taurus. The World is the last card of the major arcana. It's completion, fulfillment, achievement, wholeness. It's the energy of finishing a major cycle and being ready for a new one. It's about integration, about becoming who you were always meant to be. When the World shows up in a reading, it's basically the universe saying, you've made it, you've arrived. Everything is coming together. In your reading about life turning around. The World is confirmation that what you're experiencing isn't just a temporary upswing. This is a fundamental shift. You're completing a chapter that's been really challenging and you're moving into something completely new. The barriers that are breaking down, they were part of the old cycle. They don't exist where you're going. The World is also about having a sense of completion with the past. It's about being able to look back and see how everything, even the hard stuff, was necessary to get you here. There's a wisdom that comes with the World, a perspective that allows you to be grateful for the journey even when parts of it were painful. You're not the same person you were when this cycle started. And the World is honoring that growth. What I love about the World in your spread is that it's telling me you're about to experience a sense of freedom you haven't felt maybe ever. The kind of freedom that comes from knowing yourself, trusting yourself, having released what doesn't serve you and being open to what's next. The blessings raining down aren't just material, they're spiritual and emotional too. You're becoming whole in a way that's really beautiful. The 10th and final card I pulled was Nine of Pentacles, and this is absolutely perfect as the closing energy of your reading. Nine of Pentacles is about self-sufficiency, independence, enjoying the fruits of your labor, luxury, refinement. She's the woman in the garden, surrounded by abundance that she created herself. Completely at peace and content, Nine of Pentacles is telling me that everything we've talked about, all these blessings, all this abundance, all this life turning around, it's leading you to a place of true independence. Not the kind of independence that comes from isolation, or having to do everything alone because you have no choice. The kind of independence that comes from being so secure in yourself and your resources that you're free to choose what you want. Free to say no to what you don't want. Free to design your life according to your values. What's beautiful about Nine of Pentacles is that she's earned everything she has. There's a sense of pride here that's completely justified. You're going to look around at your life in the coming months and be able to say, I did this, I created this, I turned things around, I didn't give up, and look where I am now. That feeling is priceless. Nine of Pentacles also speaks to enjoying life's pleasures without guilt. Good food, beautiful surroundings, comfort, leisure. You've been in survival mode for a while maybe, and Nine of Pentacles is saying you're graduating from that. You're moving into a phase where you can actually enjoy your life, where you can treat yourself well, where you can relax into the abundance that's yours. There's also something about Nine of Pentacles that relates to being selective about who and what you allow into your space. You've learned through everything you've been through who deserves access to you and who doesn't. You've learned what your time and energy are worth. Nine of Pentacles is about maintaining those boundaries while also being open to the genuine love and opportunities that are trying to reach you. So Taurus, when I look at this entire reading from the High Priestess through to Nine of Pentacles, what I'm seeing is a complete transformation. You've been in this period of preparation, of learning, of inner work. You've developed incredible intuition and wisdom. And now the universe is responding to who you've become by removing every barrier that's been blocking your blessings. The speed at which things are going to shift is going to surprise you. Communication and clarity are going to play huge roles. You're moving into a phase of creativity, abundance, and fertility in every area of your life. There are genuine reasons to celebrate that are coming very soon. You're connecting with wisdom traditions or mentorship that supports your growth. Joy and clarity are replacing confusion and struggle. Financial abundance and security are coming in ways that create lasting stability. You're being given opportunities to build something sustainable. You're completing a major life cycle and stepping into freedom and wholeness. And, ultimately, you're claiming your independence and the life you've worked so hard to create, the love that's exploding without warning. That could be romantic love for sure, but it's also about falling in love with your life again. It's about loving yourself in a way you haven't been able to. It's about being surrounded by people who genuinely love and appreciate you. The barriers to love, whether that's from others or from yourself, those are coming down too. I just want you to know, Taurus, that everything you've been through has been preparing you for this. The waiting wasn't wasted. The struggle wasn't meaningless. You were becoming the version of yourself who could handle these blessings, who could sustain this level of abundance, who could live in this much joy without sabotaging it. And that version of you is ready now. The universe knows it, and very soon, you're going to know it too. Stay open over the next few weeks. Watch for those rapid shifts that Knight of Swords promised. Trust the intuition that the High Priestess has been developing in you. And most importantly, let yourself receive. Let these blessings land. Let the barriers crumble. Let your life turn around. You've earned this, and it's finally your time.